Hey everybody, Paddy here. Now it's the third episode of my new show and podcast, TFN, which stands for The Effing News. Now today, the America's Cup is on, and on each boat, there are four guys suffering so much they sometimes just vomit from the effort. Today we're going to find out from a Team New Zealand cyclor, that's what they're called, what it's like to spend the whole race just pedaling your guts out in Barcelona. And I have got one hell of a good Kiwi for you. There is nothing more awful and painful than needing a dentist and not being able to afford it. One good Wellingtonian is actually doing something about that, and we'll talk to them. Now, as we all know, the America's Cup is on. It is 4-0, and Emirates Team New Zealand is leading. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know bugger all about yachting, and I don't care for all of it, but I do know what I like. Now, have you seen those hard asses under the boat cycling? They have the best name of anything in yachting. Cyclors. Yes, cyclors. Four guys who don't see anything except their own legs and each other's sweat dripping everywhere. Now, these cyclors get to the end of the race half dead and ask, did we win? They don't even know what's going on. It is all about suffering and, importantly, getting through suffering. So what's it like and what lessons can we learn from these amazing sufferers? Well, my first guest today is cyclor, I love saying that, Louie Crosby. He's been on the water all week in Barcelona in our yacht Taihoro, and it's time for today's Great Kiwi. Great Kiwi. And joining us now from Team New Zealand headquarters is Louie Crosby. And Louie, I want to start this interview by asking you in the simplest way possible, what is a cyclor?
Cyclor. Well, you're looking at one right now. So a cyclor, we are a newly thought out piece of technology. We're effectively a human battery. We're put on the America's Cup AC-75 boat, and we use our leg power to push hydraulic fluid, which moves the sails on the boat. And whenever we do a tack or a jibe, the sails have to trim. The sailors kind of make that request, and we power it.
And what happens if you don't supply enough power? What happens to that boat?
Yeah, so we saw that in the round robins, for example. There were some teams who you heard over the comms, they were kind of shouting for more power, and you'll notice that the boats are basically less stable. So they might go through a maneuver and kind of look as if they're going to fall off the foils, or just not look quite as stable as some of the other boats, and that's because the power isn't coming through at the right time, or there's just not enough of it coming through at all.
It is a hell of a lot of grunt work, isn't it? Just tell me, how hard is it when you do that? Because it looks bloody hard.
Yeah, it's hard, mate. I've kind of likened it to riding through the beach, on your push bike, which you can imagine is not very easy, in deep sand, and then out of nowhere, it's just the way the hydraulic system works. You can just all of a sudden just hit a curb, just straight into the edge of the curb, and you just have to battle through it, And then imagine the next minute you're riding on ice, no friction, just legs are spinning, and then bang, hit a curb again. So it's very physical and at times unpredictable, but incredibly hard, mate. Yep, get the heart rate up.
And I've been watching some videos of what you do. I have to say they put the cameras in a very unfortunate angle for you guys as well down in there. You're sort of in the basement of the boat, I'd describe it, with a camera sort of shooting up at you. It's not great, but it looks tough in there.
Yeah, it's 100% tough. I think what the cameras show is exactly what we're experiencing. It's hot. There's bugger all airflow. We've got a life jacket on, and we're pedaling our asses off. So you see a lot of sweat coming down. Legs are turning like anything. So yeah, it's a good representation, to be honest. Yeah, some of us call it the pain cave, the hurt box. Whatever it is. It's may not look glamorous, but what we're achieving is quite beautiful.
Yeah. So what do you prefer out of the hurt box and the pain cave, if you're describing it?
Sounds quite grim, but I call it the coffin. So we've all got our own names.
You actually call it the coffin because you guys are grunting away in the coffin. You're even spewing up. I mean, have you spewed up in there? You're working so hard. I've seen other guys spewing up in the coffin.
I haven't spewed up, mate. Yeah, I've gone deep, but I haven't spewed up. Yeah, that camera, it's in the wrong place for that. Yeah, you'd know about it if I did.
And it's all about suffering, isn't it? I mean, how long can these efforts be for people that, don't really know what you're doing? I mean, how long are you suffering like that for?
Yeah, so a race is generally, you kind of sail into the pre-start area, which might take 5 minutes, not too stressful. The pre-start is full on, 2 minutes, full gas. You're kind of redlining, especially off the start line. So it's kind of weird. You kind of think, start of the race right now, let's get into it. But the cyclists are actually very tired at the start of the race. And then we just have to hold on for 6 to 8 laps, which might take 25, 27 minutes. So it's about a half an hour effort, and yeah, you find your limits within that time frame.
And you're talking about finding your limits. I mean, how do you, Louie, convince your body to keep going when it is screaming at you to please stop?
Yeah, well, we've prepared for this for a couple of years, we're ready for it. So many others would have loved the opportunity, and I'm grateful to have it. I'm grateful to be representing New Zealand. I'm grateful to be a part of just such an amazing team. I kind of consider them family, and so many dreams within that team to win the cup, and you just want to play your part. It's a team sport,
Yeah, and Louie, is there elements of your life that you find inspiration from, from your personal life? Is there suffering or things that you can draw on for strength that you can tell us about?
My personal life. Well, I believe suffering it's actually a pretty natural part of living, and I think everyone experiences it in their own ways. Wherever you're brought up in life, I think everyone has their own understanding of suffering. And I think the best way, personally, to deal with it is just to embrace it, appreciate that it's a part of life, and if you can do that, and if you can kind of find a way to even somehow get comfortable with suffering, I think it's a beautiful thing, and you can really learn and grow through that.
That's awesome, Louie. And I was talking to one of your friends, and they said that you've lost, I think it's both your parents earlier in your life. Is that something? Do you draw on that for inspiration at all?
Obviously, I lost my father very young when I was 4 years old, and then basically straight after, my mum was fighting cancer for about 18 years, and so through that time frame, she did an amazing job of raising me, but with the help of family and friends. And she passed away when I was 21, which was actually at a time when I was racing professionally as a road cyclist based out of America. And that was very hard. It's very tough, but you find coping mechanisms, and one of my coping mechanisms is extending my family, whether people know it or not. So I've kind of made people my uncle, for example, inspirational males in my life that I've just decided, that's an uncle. I'm going to start learning from that man. And I've had genuine uncles like that, but I've also had, for example, my old work colleague or previous boss, Mark. I called him my uncle, and he taught me a great deal about life, and he kind of helped me become the person who I am. And now I'm part of Team New Zealand. I've kind of inherited a few more uncles, And again, these guys don't know that I consider them my uncle. But
yeah, that's really beautiful, Louie. And another question, moving away from that, is can we win, or will we win this America's Cup, Louie?
I think we can win. We can 100% win. We're in a good position with a defender. We've got an incredible team. We're up against a serious challenger with Ineos Britannia, but I think we can do it.
And finally, Louie, what advice from your life that's included all kinds of suffering, actually, what advice simple advice do you have for other Kiwis? What advice do you have for other Kiwis?
Yeah, mate. I think just be ready in life for opportunities. They can, they might not always pop up when you want them to, or when you expect them to, or when you feel like you deserve them or have earned them. But just be ready and just enjoy life, enjoy the process. If you can find a passion, just really just get into it, enjoy it, share it with other people, and just be a good person. I think, if you follow those steps, enjoying life, what else is there?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Louie. Good luck in the coffin. Give it everything for New Zealand. I know you will.
All right, mate. Cheers, Paddy.
How good. Now it is time for today's How Good, and today it is very simple. How good are Kiwi? On Monday, a really important week began. Save the Kiwi Week. One of the greatest things we have in this country, in my view, is our national bird. I love kiwi. Not just you, but the kiwi bird itself. But you know what? We take the bird for granted. It's always been there. We think it's always going to be here. But did you know that our kiwi population is actually declining? Today they reckon there are 68,000 birds left, and it's going down by 2% every year. We're losing 1,400 birds a year at that rate. That is quite a lot of kiwi. It is estimated that once there were about 12 million kiwi. Back in 1998, there were 100,000. By 2008, there were 70,000. Now we're down to 68,000, despite all this breeding and stuff that's going on everywhere in protection. And when it comes to taking this bird for granted, though, I am one of the worst offenders. I'm throwing the word kiwi around left, right and centre on this show. Good kiwi, great kiwi, brainy kiwi, kiwi dream, you name it, kiwi this, kiwi that. Meanwhile, the odds are stacked against our real kiwi. They squeeze out one massive egg at a time. They have to sit on it for months. They don't have the massive forest that they used to have to find food in. Meanwhile, stoats, rats, dogs and cats are all out to get them, and they can't fly. Save the Kiwi say only half the eggs actually hatch. Then 90% of those chicks that come out of the half of the eggs die within a few months. So here's some maths. In the end, only 2.5% of eggs become adult birds. I hope that's right. I'm pretty sure it is. Now, Save the Kiwi also say that most chicks are killed by stoats or cats. Yes, cats. So what can we do? Well, there are lots of ways you can help. You can donate money, you can give your time, all that kind of thing. I recommend it. But there's one thing that I will continue to fight for on behalf of Kiwi. We have to add feral cats to the predator-free 2050 list and wipe them off the face of Aotearoa New Zealand and help give our Kiwi a chance. And nobody else in New Zealand wants to be this blunt, but I am happy to. Kiwi need to live, and feral cats have got to die. And another thing while you're there, let's all just take a moment to appreciate our magnificent bird. We make a lot of noise about Kiwi. We've used them for our branding. We call ourselves by their name. We need to stop taking them for granted and start protecting them. Happy Save the Kiwi Week, everybody. Kiwi, how good? Good Kiwi. Now, anybody who has been to downtown Wellington recently will know there is a real problem with homeless people wandering around. They've got all sorts of complex problems and they're incredibly hard to deal with, but somebody has to help. Now, one of the big issues is with their teeth. And this week's Good Kiwi is Sophie McKenna. Sophie is a dentist who helps up to 100 of them every year, completely, for free. Just helps them. So I went to DCM, a downtown drop-in centre, to meet this good Kiwi. I'm Paddy.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. You all good?
Fred. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, hey Fred, you all good?
Yep.
Yeah. What way's the dentist, do you know?
Yeah.
I'm here to see the dentist.
Oh, it's a beautiful place, bro. You got beautiful people here that are here to support people in the community that are going through their struggles out there or whatever it may be.
It's all right. DCM's got everything they need. It provides everything they need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially for the homeless and the sick and the unwell. People like ourselves that are living it rough need help.
how would you describe Sophie the dentist?
She's generous, she's kind, she's warm.
You would say that Sophie is a good Kiwi?
Oh, she's a great Kiwi, one of the best.
Sophie was your dentist?
Yeah, she helped me with a new set of teeth, and which is most of my self-esteem and confidence these days. Yeah, she did some work, she gave me some advice, and now I've got a full smile again and can eat and talk properly. I probably had 2 teeth, the rest of them were just taken out by addiction.
Have you had to sort of teach yourself to smile, or has it kind of come back?
No, I had to teach myself at first, but now it's genuine.
You've got an awesome smile, bro.
I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'll take that.
No, I'm telling you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's as nice as yours then, hey?
I mean, looking at Stephen, it's made an amazing difference to his life. He had no teeth, and now he does, and he's told me he's got a huge amount of self-confidence.
If you're missing your front teeth, then your head's down, you don't smile, you put your hand up, shoulders are down, and to be able to replace those, you literally see someone chin up, shoulders back, big grin. I mean, they go out and they can't stop grinning to everyone they know out front. So we see nearly 300 appointments, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the year and who can volunteer. And that's often it's around 100 or so people, but they're repeat appointments.
So this is run totally on volunteer dentists?
Yeah, so we do a lot more extractions than normal. And I had money to do these false teeth things. I could have seen 4 times the number of people I was able to see for the money that we got. So yeah, I mean there's just loads. It's almost bottomless, really, because they're just the people that we know of that I could have done work for.
And that's people have said that you are a great Kiwi, a really good Kiwi.
Oh well, that's kind, but that's not. You know, we're just here doing our stuff, and it's I'm just a little cog in that wheel. That's not. Yeah, we're not here to be heroes. We're here to just quietly do something worthwhile for people. It's really cool.
Absolutely amazing, Sophie. Now, a big shout out to everybody at DCM. Just incredible work. I spent the morning with them, so busy, so much in need of all sorts of donations or whatever you can spare, your skills. Head to their website, www.dcm.org.nz, if you want to help. And if you know of a good Kiwi who you want to dob in, someone who is making a real difference to the community, email me, paddy@tfn.co.nz. Brainy Kiwi. Now it's time to meet someone brainier than you. A lot of brainy people in this country have ideas that nobody has had before, but this lot had an idea that could save millions of lives and billions of dollars a year. It's time to meet Francesca Logan from a company called Tokuwise. As always, Francesca, you've got 3 minutes to answer 4 questions. Now, if you're so brainy, here's a little bonus sort of question. How long is that for each answer? 3 minutes?
Oh, God, 45 seconds-ish. 50.
Okay, you didn't need to do that because I had absolutely no idea, but I just a little tester.
I'm certainly not the mathematician in our group.
Yeah. Now, what problem does Tokuwise solve?
So we are in the preventable diseases space. So the first 2 diseases that we're tackling are cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease. So big problem areas, cardiovascular disease, leading cause of death and healthcare costs in majority of countries around the world. Chronic kidney disease, very, very underdiagnosed. So 9 out of 10 people with chronic kidney disease have no idea that they have it.
Okay, massive problems. How do you solve them?
So we have developed technology to be able to assess cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease during a routine eye exam. So if you've been to the optometrist ever, you've probably had a photo taken of the back of your eye. And we use those same photographs and run it through our AI technology, and we're able to diagnose cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease.
Wow, so you use the eye scans that people are getting anyway, and you're able to diagnose these major diseases. That's big. Now, how far have you got with it?
We're pretty far, but it's still early days. So we last year we raised some money from some 2 incredible sort of investors / partners over in the US. So one of them is the largest optometry chain in the US.
Okay, that sounds big.
Yes, so they have 1,500 stores, so they're also our biggest customer. And then the second one is the largest global manufacturer of the company that makes the cameras. So with them, we are rolling out in the US at the moment. We also are taking our medical products through FDA. So that's the US regulatory body. And so we got 2 recognitions from FDA as being breakthrough technology. So what that means is that they recognize it as being so much better and so revolutionary and will help so many people that they want to get it to market as fast as possible. So
You've got quite far, is what you're saying. Yeah. Now, how big could this get? How big could this get?
I mean, just in the US alone, there's 100 million routine eye exams every year. So firstly, we can expand to all optometry who already have these cameras, already taking these images. And then next, kind of, the true brainy people in our R&D team are working on what else can we see in the eye. So we are looking at things like hypertension, cholesterol. There's even things like neurological diseases, so Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, some cancers.
You're saying this could get massive?
It could get massive, yeah, absolutely.
And when can I get it done here in Aotearoa, New Zealand? When can I get my eye scan checked and my health checked?
We have a few things coming up. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about any of them yet, but certainly beginning of next year, we should have some good spots for you to go and get
soon
checked out.
Soon as. All right. Thank you very much, Francesca. Now, if you know of a brainy Kiwi, because this was quite a brainy one right here, who is solving either the big problems or even the small problems of the world, email me, paddy@tfn.co.nz. I'm not a brainy Kiwi, but I want to hear about them. Good night, Kiwi. Each week on TFN, we learn something about an amazing Kiwi who has passed away in the last week or so. This week, we're doing something a little bit different. As we record this, we are just coming to the end of something called Baby Loss Awareness Week. It's a global thing. The idea is simply to try and help people through the grief and tragedy of losing a baby by talking about it, by sharing and by remembering, because that can actually help. Now, last night at 7 p.m, there was a wave of light and love across New Zealand and the world as mums and dads, grandparents and siblings lit candles to remember their babies. Babies who died during pregnancy, were stillborn, or who died in the early weeks and months of being in the outside world. The wave of light began here in Aotearoa with events all over the country, setting off a continuous wave as it made its way around the globe. There have been events all over the country, including one in Carterton that Rebecca Vergunst helped to set up. Now, we heard from Rebecca and her husband Josh, who 5 years ago lost their son Asher. He was stillborn at 21 weeks. Rebecca now runs Hokotahi, a support service for whānau in the Wairarapa. She said it was totally out of the blue. They had no warning and no answers as to why he died. Rebecca said, quote, "It's hard because the rest of the world moves on and your baby only exists in your own memory. Your baby may have only been around for a short while, but you're not just grieving those few months. You're grieving all the things you'll never have with your child. The cuddles, the first words, the first day at school." So what can we do? Well, baby loss awareness is that small positive thing. Yes, positive. Because Rebecca said, it's good to do something tangible to remember your baby. And it's helpful to meet other parents going through the same thing. So today, I'm saying good night, Kiwi, to little Asher Vergunst. And good night to the many other little Kiwis who have died before getting a chance at life. Your time with us was too short, but your memories will live on in the hearts of your loved ones forever. Now, people in New Zealand, in my view, find it quite awkward to talk about grief, about death, or even to think about this stuff, but it's the only positive thing we can do to help people who really need something positive. Remember that. We can be positive in grief. Now, if you lose someone, and I hope you don't, but if you do and you want to let New Zealand know just a little bit about them, please email me, paddy@tfn.co.nz. And that's the end of the show. I know it's meant to be a positive show and I've ruined myself a little bit by ending it like that, but I did it because I wanted to be positive and I wanted to try and help someone. See you next week on TFN.